So every time you make a commitment and you follow through, that is the building block for confidence, and that keeps you building momentum so you keep moving forward. Hi everyone, welcome to the Lead from Love podcast. I am Yalini, I'm your host and love coach. So it is the start of a new year. I hope that you are feeling fresh and motivated and excited for the year ahead. So I wanted to dedicate this episode to really supporting you to set yourself up for success, because most of you may have set some goals or New Year's resolutions on what it is that you desire to create, to experience, and to feel this year. But often without the right plan and without the right action steps, so many of our desires never see the light of day. And I don't want that for you. I want you to achieve everything that you truly desire so that you get to experience the fullness of life and that you get to feel good along the way. So this episode, I'm going to flesh out how to go about achieving your goals and also highlight where most people go wrong, because there is a reason that not everyone follows through on their resolutions or their goals and their aspirations. And then I'm going to let you in on what you can do instead. And on top of that, I'm going to share a special part of your brain that you can activate to get you there faster, to make sure that you keep moving forward in life, because this is the muscle that you want to be working out as you move through the year. This is what sets you up to achieve. Now, before I jump straight into this episode, if you were like me and you had a tough 2023, and if you were still carrying some of that baggage from the year before, I recommend that you look at the last episode 13, because in that I share some of the challenges that I had to navigate last year, what that taught me, as well as sharing 5 steps that you can take. They're very simple, very easy to do, to help you clear the baggage. Because if you go through those 5 steps and you clean some of that backlog and you clean the slate, it's going to set you up in a better position to get the most out of this episode. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I recommend you do that and then come back to this episode. All right, so how can we set you up for success? I want to go through 5 key things. The first one is defining your why. Most people start the year full of hope and optimism and excitement on what they want to achieve. You know, they create this big list of New Year's resolutions, and normally they're about the things they want to achieve or where they want to go, how they want to feel. But oftentimes there isn't a strong why attached to it. Your why is the reason that you are showing up, the reason that you are doing what you are doing. Because without a strong why, it is easy when days get hard to start making excuses and to go, oh, I just can't show up today, or I'm tired, or I don't have the energy, or I'm feeling sick, or any number of things could happen, right? This is life. Life is going to happen. But having a clearly defined why, it becomes an anchor for your goals, and it goes beyond the surface and it taps into your core values, your core passions, because when times are tough, having a clear reason for why you are showing up, for why you are doing what you're doing, it becomes this burning fire of motivation inside of you that fuels you to keep moving forward, to keep going towards your goals. So define your why. So as an example, this year, I've gotten back into running, which might not sound big for a lot of you, but for me, it is huge. When I was younger, I was a runner. I used to be really athletic. And over the years, I've really adopted a sedentary lifestyle. You know, I do my work at my desk. I work with clients online. And apart from taking my dog Ollie for a walk, I'm not really that active anymore, which is terrible to admit, but you know, it's the truth. And so this year I've started off motivated to start moving my body again, motivated to run and to feel good in that space, because I am a runner at heart. I love how it feels and the way my body moves when I'm running down the road. So my why is also connected to reclaiming a part of me and reclaiming those things that feel good, that make me feel like myself again. And it's important for me to have that as my anchor, because there are going to be days when I'm tired and I can't be bothered. But connecting to who I am, connecting to how I feel, and connecting to what I want to recreate within myself, that is what's going to keep me moving forward. That is the anchor that is going to make sure that I will keep going towards my goals, where everyone else is probably letting their New Year's resolutions drop away. Now, in saying that, your why doesn't always have to be positive and aspirational. Sometimes, in fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and say that most of the time, the why is a pain point. It's certainly what I see with my clients. It's that they cannot keep going the way that they're going because they've reached a point in their lives where it's taken a toll. We're living with that pain and that anger and that hurt and the self-sabotaging behaviors and those limiting beliefs. They're not living. It's taken a toll on their mental and physical and spiritual health, and it's often had a ripple effect on their loved ones, on their family, especially on their kids if they've got them. And so often when my clients come to me, it's because they've reached a point where they cannot possibly continue going the way that they are going because life is too painful and it's taken too great a toll, and they don't want to show up that way for their family. They don't want to show up that way for their kids. They want to be a role model that shows them there is another way to live. And what I'll say is having a motivation that is premised in pain is sometimes the greatest fuel you can ever have to keep you moving forward, because when the pain is great enough, there is nothing that will stop you from moving forward because you've already lived the life of pain. You already know what it costs you. And so you've already gone through the worst of the worst, which means there's no point anymore, and you become fully invested in moving forward. And having a clear reminder of that pain and why you can't go back there, you will show up for yourself in order to keep moving forward. So having a clearly defined why becomes your anchor, and write it down or have some sort of representation for it. That could be, a recent or past photo of you where you look unhappy, and constantly looking at that on a daily basis or whatever it is that you may have written down will keep you focused on your goals and why you are choosing to show up for yourself, and it will keep you motivated to keep moving forward. So that's step one, define your why. The second step is make commitments non-negotiable. So what I mean by that is, if you're anything like me, you start off the new year with big goals and big dreams, and it's so great. It is so great to have big aspirations. But often what we do when we have big goals is we go all in, when we try to do it all straight away. But that's not sustainable, because at a certain point you're going to burn out or you miss a day. And when you miss a day with, 10, 20 different things that you want to achieve, it makes it hard to make up for it later on. And then, it becomes even more insurmountable the next day, because you go, not only do I need to do the things for today, but I also need to make up for yesterday. And then that gets overwhelming, and then you miss a day, 2 days, a week, a month, and it just becomes a slippery slope down. So I'm not saying not to have big goals and not to have big tasks that you move towards, but find ways to break them down into micro steps. Find something that you can do that is so simple that you can implement that on a daily basis and make that a non-negotiable. Just like brushing your teeth, no matter what is going on in your day, no matter how little time you have or how sick you feel, before you leave the house, I would hope that you're still brushing your teeth every day, because it is something that you do that is so ingrained that it is a non-negotiable. You couldn't imagine leaving the house without brushing your teeth. That is how simple and non-negotiable this step needs to be for you, that you just do this every single day. It's just a part of your routine, like brushing your teeth. And the reason I say that is, if you can find one thing that you can do on a daily basis, it means that no matter what is going on in your life, you will always have ticked a box, which means you will always be moving forward in some way, shape, or form. Because the thing is, when life happens, it's often our goals or our aspirations or the things that we do for ourselves that takes the back seat. And when we miss a day, just like I was saying before, it's easy for that to become a slippery slope of weeks and months. And all of a sudden you're at the end of the year wondering what happened. And it's easy to dismiss small commitments because you think, it's only 5-7 minutes. It's not significant. I didn't really achieve much. But what's really important to remember is that it has a cumulative effect over time. So, 5-7 minutes a day, that's up to 30, 42 hours a year, which is better than nothing. And what it does is it helps you realize that you haven't completely fallen off the bandwagon. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, I have all of these goals, I have all of these aspirations. And if I miss a day, I go, well, you know what? This is just, if it's eating well, it's like, well, I'll eat really badly today and then I'll make up for it tomorrow. But if you've achieved something small, it reduces the risk of you completely sabotaging because actually you still moved forward that day. You're more likely to continue to keep going the next day and you're less likely to completely sabotage because you haven't thrown everything away. So identify some small commitments that you can make, that you can incorporate on a daily basis. So for example, for me, going back into running and enjoying that, I also need to find balance because I haven't been this active in a while. And so knowing that I can't run every day because it's going to be too hard on my body and I don't want to risk injury. I want to be doing this for the long term, not just for a week and then having to ride myself off. And so my minimum commitment is 7 minutes a day. 7 minutes a day, whether that be doing some form of cardio, whether that be doing some form of weight training, or even just stretching. It's just me showing up for 7 minutes a day where I take care of my body. And then there will be days where I'll add on that and I'll be working out and running or doing some form of more intense exercise. But at least I show up for 7 minutes because that means there won't be a day that goes by where I've completely neglected myself. And I'm not going to be giving myself complete permission to, go down that self-sabotage route. Now, I know that even in saying 5-7 minutes, there are people that are going to be going, I don't always have that. And so to you, I say, if you find yourself scrolling on your phone, whether that be on social media or on YouTube at some point in the day, then you have time to find 5 or 7 minutes for yourself because I would like to think that you are more important than a funny cat meme or a random reel of someone that you don't know because social media, scrolling, that is a rabbit hole. Often most of us go on it to just have a quick look and then hours pass before you actually pull yourself out of that trap. So make that commitment to yourself first. And if you can, do it earlier in the day so that you're not holding guilt and stress and having to find time to squeeze it in. Just like brushing your teeth, get it out of the way and done. And that sets up your day. So making small, non-negotiable commitments. Now, the reason this is so important is because the next step is facing the reality that sometimes as you go on your path to achieving your goals, you are going to be faced with challenges. And challenges aren't all bad. They are important. The whole purpose of life is not to avoid challenges and just to have this easy, breezy, chill life. And the reason I want to highlight that is because we're living in an era where everything is about convenience. Or a lot of things are about convenience. We've got smartphones, smart devices. It's all about simplifying the chaos of life to make everything easy so we don't have to think too much. Your mobile phone, it's basically a computer and then it's got a camera and a video in there and your wallet and a GPS system. And so you have everything at your fingertips so that you don't have to do much beyond that. We've even got robo vacuums so you don't have to go around the house vacuuming. The problem with that, though, is it sets us up to expect ease, to expect convenience, and to expect not to have to try. And so when we face challenges in other areas of our lives, it's almost like we go, oh, well, what's this about? We almost become averse to it and we want to avoid it because it becomes uncomfortable. And we're creating lives of comfort and ease that discomfort it feels at odds with what we're trying to aspire to achieve. But here's the thing, nothing worth having is easy. And if it was easy, it wouldn't mean that much to you, because it's when you go through tough times, it's when you overcome challenges, and when you have to deal with pushback and failures and tough times, that when you make it to the other side, that is when it has deep and meaningful value. That is when you value how you showed up for yourself. That is when you have a sense of pride. And that is when you develop strength and resilience. So challenges are important hurdles in life because they are catalysts for your growth. In the same way that if you go to the gym and you want to get really fit and you want ripped muscles or be really toned, you're going to have to feel those muscles burn. You're going to have to continue to show up day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it, and eat right. But you know that if you do that and you make that commitment to yourself, then you are going to reap the rewards. And it's the same in other areas of your life. It's the same in relationships. It's the same with the goals and aspirations and business and work. Sometimes you're going to have to go through challenging moments, and that's not a reason to quit. It is a reason to show up so that you can grow and get to the other side. You know, when it comes to relationships, you're talking about two different people that have had two different life experiences and potentially different values and ways of communicating and seeing the world that then come together to coexist. Of course, there are going to be challenges. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's an opportunity to grow, to learn different styles of communication, to learn empathy, to learn how to build things in a different way, to learn how to compromise. You know, compromises aren't bad. That's a reality of life. It doesn't mean that you miss out on everything, but it just means that you learn different ways of navigating with other people. And it's the same with your goals. Some days you're not going to be able to show up the way that you want. So you're going to have to make compromises. Like for me, it's my 7 minutes. As long as I do my 7 minutes or some derivative of, because it's not always going to be the full half hour, the hour that I've got available. And so challenges are going to happen. And I really want to flag this because at least if you are aware of it, you can be prepared when it happens. You go, okay, I knew there were going to be potential challenges and hurdles that I would have to go through, and I'm here for it. It sets you up with motivation to move through them instead of going, oh, I didn't sign up for this, because otherwise you won't achieve what you truly desire. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, number 4, is why challenges are so important. Because, you know, I get it. When you're in the gym and you're working out and you know, you had to find that motivation within you, at least you can start to see the rewards. At least you can start to feel and notice the changes, whether that be emotionally, whether you see it physically. You can see that you are progressing. You know, you can see potentially, you know, maybe you're seeing how much leaner you're becoming. Maybe you're noticing changes in your mental health and your emotional health, and you feel better about yourself or more confident, and you're standing up taller. And so that can give you more motivation to keep moving forward. But when you can't see things taking shape in front of you in a physical way, it can be really demotivating and really disheartening. You know, if you're working towards goals in your career, but you can't see those changes yet or opportunities coming your way, it might feel like you're doing it all for nothing. But here's the thing. Whether or not you can see it, if you keep showing up for yourself during challenging times, you are building a muscle in your brain. It is called the Anterior Mid-Cingulate Cortex. And this is the powerhouse in your mind that helps you not only stay focused and committed to your goals, but sets you up to succeed. This is the part of your brain that you want to work out. And here's the thing. It only gets activated and grows through challenging moments. So if you're doing things to move you towards your goals, but they're things that you enjoy, this part of the brain doesn't light up. But it lights up when it requires grit, when it requires perseverance and tenacity, when you need to build that resilience within yourself. This is the part of your brain that is responsible. And here's the thing, they've done studies on this. So people who are obese, don't eat well, don't exercise, this part of their brain is small. And for athletes that continue to show up and take care of themselves and eat right and train, it is much bigger. But You don't have to be an athlete to activate this part of your brain, because it is even bigger still in people that have gone through challenging lives, that have gone through so much hardship, but they keep showing up. So in order to activate this part of your brain, in order to grow this muscle, because what happens is the more that you show up through challenging times, not only the bigger it gets, but the easier it becomes for you to continue showing up in challenging times, because this part of your brain is responsible for cognitive control. So it influences your attention, it influences decision making, and it influences your behavior and your ability to stay focused on your long-term objectives. So the more that you keep showing up for yourself, going, I'm going to do this anyway, the bigger this part of your brain becomes, and the easier it is for you to continue to make those same decisions in the future. I say this with my clients all the time. I give them, as we go through the emotional healing journey, I also give them tasks. I give them tools and resources they can implement in their daily life, because you only see me for an hour a week, which means what you do outside of that time with me is absolutely fundamental in continuing to help you move forward. And so I give them tasks they can do when they've got all of that negative self-talk going on in their mind. And the thing is, we often tell ourselves a story that, I don't have the energy to do that task, because right now I'm tired, or I'm angry and I'm annoyed and I can't be bothered. But they are the moments that you need it the most, because otherwise you go down that rabbit hole of negative thoughts and it spirals and it takes on a life force of its own. And so part of the learning is, before you go down that rabbit hole, making the necessary switches to pull yourself out, because it's going to be easier doing it at the start than when it's snowballed. And then that creates a new trajectory where you can move forward in a positive direction. And what I consistently get told is that that task might be a little bit more demanding at the start, but it always gets easier, to the point that my clients start doing it automatically without even thinking, or they don't even need it anymore, because they've been able to switch their mindset in such a fundamental way that they've got a new process running at their subconscious. But the reason I bring that up is because even though it might have required a little bit more willpower at the start, what's happened is each time they show up for themselves, they are building the muscle in their brain, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which is why it gets easier, which is why they start achieving their results, which is why they have such profound changes in their lives. So continue to show up for those challenging times, because just know it's not just for this one moment. You are setting yourself up for your future. You are setting up this big muscle in your brain, because you don't just go to the gym once to build a muscle. You'll lose it. You've got to keep showing up for yourself in order not to just maintain, but to grow that muscle to become even stronger. It's the same with this part of your brain. You don't just do a challenging thing once. You keep showing up for yourself, because that reaffirms your commitment to yourself, and it'll make it easier in the long run. And that is how you succeed. And not only will you succeed, but along the way, that helps build confidence, because you build confidence by the promises that you keep to yourself. So every time you make a commitment and you follow through, that is the building block for confidence, and that keeps you building momentum, so you keep moving forward. And then the last thing that I wanted to go through is seek support. Because you are not here to do this life on your own. So have someone around you that can support you through challenging moments and can keep you accountable. So whether that be sharing your goals with a friend or a family member, or having a mentor or a coach or a therapist, have someone around you to keep you accountable and to keep you moving forward. Because it's the difference between going to the gym on your own and going, yes, I'm going to commit to this new regime for the rest of the year, and hiring a personal trainer. Because, hey, no one's saying that you can't do it on your own. I mean, there's so many free resources out there and access to YouTube to help you know what to do. But having a personal trainer that's going to show up for you every time you hit that gym, that's going to support you and navigate any challenging moments, and that is going to keep you accountable, so you keep moving forward, so that you stick to your goals, and that you can potentially get there better and faster than you ever could have on your own. That is such a turning point. And that can make all of the difference. And even with my clients, when we do the emotional healing programs, they don't need me anymore. They've done that bit where we've moved through their traumas. We've moved through those limiting beliefs and those self-sabotaging behaviors. But sometimes they stay on because they want that continued coaching and accountability, because they recognize that, you know what, life's going to happen. And they don't want to go back and dip any of those lows. They didn't do all of that work for nothing. It's not that you ever go back to where you were, but it just means that, you know what? Sometimes we're going to slip. Sometimes we're going to have hard moments and we're not going to do all the things that we know we're supposed to do. And just having someone that we can lean on, to have some support, to have some accountability, it means that we keep moving forward in life. So it's one of the most powerful things that you can do in order to succeed in this life. So they're the 5 things that I wanted to share with you in order to help you attain your goals, so you actually achieve what you desire this year, so that you don't just make resolutions that never see the light of day. So just to wrap it up for this episode, I'm going to quickly summarize the 5 recommendations that I shared. So number 1 was define your why. Get clear on why you're doing what you are doing. And it might be aspirational in terms of wanting to be fit and healthy and feel good again, or it might be to avoid more pain. It might be because you have gone through enough trauma, enough hurt, enough misery that you cannot stay this way. You do not want that for your future, and you do not want that pain to impact your family or your kids. So you have to make a shift. So get clear on your why, write it down, or have some representation of it, maybe a photo of yourself to keep you motivated, and look at it daily as your reminder, as your fuel to ignite that passion inside of yourself, so that no matter what is going on in life, you stay fully committed to your goals. Number 2 is find small action steps that you can take on a daily basis. Make commitments that are non-negotiable, just like brushing your teeth, that no matter what is going on in your day, you will absolutely do this one thing, because even if you don't do everything else that you would like, it means that you haven't completely let yourself slip away. It means that even at the end of the day, you've still done one thing to help keep you moving forward. It will have a cumulative effect. So it counts as something. It is so powerful, and it stops you from completely self-sabotaging. So identify small things that you can do. Number 3 is just dispelling the myth that success is easy. Because you know what? If you can be honest with yourself and be prepared for challenging moments and be ready to face them head on, then you can make it through anything. And not only will you make it through to the other side, but you can be so much prouder of yourself for it, and you will have grown, you will have developed grit and resilience. That is how you move forward in this life. And not only that, but you will have developed what number 4 is, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex of your brain. It is the muscle in your brain that enhances your resilience, your focus, and your determination. And this is the muscle that you need in order to achieve more in life, because it will help you keep showing up no matter what is going on. It will help you stay focused on your long-term goals, so you actually make it to the other side while building confidence in the process, because it means you will keep the promises you have to yourself. And then number 5 was get the right support around you. Have someone that will hold you accountable. Have someone that knows what they are doing, so you can achieve what you truly desire, because you deserve to live the life that you are yearning for. And it is my absolute hope that these 5 steps help you get there, because there is no reason why you cannot achieve what you desire. So take the time to go through these steps, and I hope they set you up for an amazing new year.